let's dive in.
Yes.
Uncomfortable situations. It's really uncomfortable to be uncomfortable.
That's true.
And that's why we're trying to avoid this as much as we can, which is not strange at all. But we are talking about this because it's a learning opportunity. And to be uncomfortable is actually a very cheap price to pay for the potential learning that can come out of it. So we want to try to exemplify this by our own examples and be a bit vulnerable here. So Shwa, do you have something to share?
Yeah, sure. To add to what you said is, in my experience and understanding, uncomfortable conversations, if dealt with patience and with respect, can be moments of learning as well, right? As you said, any uncomfortable conversation or situation can bring more learning to ourselves, and we can be better prepared for next time if we are open to it, because we don't need to be too serious about it and get too personal about it at the first time. There is always, you can give a chance to yourself and to the other person or a group.
Self-love.
Yes, exactly. Self love. So, conversations, as you said, can be uncomfortable, and it's not necessarily a bad thing always. So, yeah, that's for now. That's what I want to say. And do you want to share any story?
Yeah, why don't I start? And I'll try to do it in a quick way. This was when I was studying to become a social worker. I'm sitting in the university library, and there I started to chat with this guy, and we quite quickly got into the subject of discrimination of immigrants. And he, I don't know where he come from, but it looks as if he had a Middle Eastern look about him. So maybe Iran or Iraq or something like this. And but probably born in Sweden even. So you couldn't detect in his voice that he would come from somewhere else. And I was saying something along the lines that, yes, there is discrimination and marginalization, but it isn't that bad. This is back in Sweden, where I come from. And this guy said, hang on, how do you know that? Have you looked?
Wow.
Yeah. Have you looked? You haven't looked through my eyes at how people are looking at me.
That's true.
And he said, let me tell you about the number of jobs that I've applied for over the phone. And that the potential employer is sounding really interested. And then they say towards the end of the interview, give us your name. And he said, if it's Mohammed or something like this. And he then immediately recognizes the voice that says, very kind of politely, good, we'll get back to you. And he knows at that point that they're not going to get back to him. So this gently but firmly little reality check has had a massive impact on my life, actually. There was me, this social worker, studying social work, especially with regards to multicultural environments. I was kind of priding myself on having this as one of my multiculturalism, as one of my favorite topics. And still I am carrying around this this view that things aren't as bad as they actually are. This guy obviously cannot represent every immigrant in Sweden.
That's true.
But it was an important learning point for me. And it was really uncomfortable. I started to cry there in the library with this stranger.